Hello, Ollie. Welcome to the show.
Right.
You just what?
It didn't. It was spinning. It was doing the thingy spin. So it wouldn't have been recording.
Oh fuck! Well, that's a fucking start to a podcast, isn't it? Great.
Do you not edit the beginning, Lee?
I don't edit any of it.
You just slap it straight on.
Yeah, there's at least 5 minutes in the last podcast of Dave singing while I tried to fix my microphone.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to that.
And that'll be uploaded tonight onto the main feed. I was gonna, I genuinely, because what I was gonna do was I was gonna edit it because you weren't there and you always tell me to make sure I'm using my proper microphone. I forgot to use my proper microphone, and Dave only noticed 20 minutes in. So the first 20 minutes of that podcast were me using my laptop microphone, which I'm not gonna lie, turns out not fucking awful. But not what you call industry quality fucking but not what you call industry quality fucking audio by any stretch of imagination. So I was going to do that, and then life got fucking well in the way. It's been things have been fucking super hectic around here, so it's been really fucking difficult, like editing sorting shows up to upload them, so to say, and even the haphazard job I do of it. I'm so behind with putting the Alien Addict stuff up. It's fucking unreal how far behind I've got with that. It's been a fucking, because I wanted to get into the habit of uploading the podcast for patrons every Sunday and putting this one up and an Alien Addict show up on Sunday, and then come Wednesday I put this show up on the main feed. But it's just been fucking diabolical.
Life sometimes gets in the way, my friend.
Oh, it's not enough days. There's not.
I take it we've started now, have we, Lee? That was the intro.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
My interruption was the intro.
Yeah. Meta. So yeah, no, it was just. It's just been a bit fucking crackers. I only uploaded the proper podcast to the Patreon last night. I'll upload this to the main feed. So this will only be a day late, but the Patreon feed was like fucking 5 days late, which is great because I had new Patreon subscribers as well. So there's a welcome to you fucking idiots. But here we are.
Well, it's nice just to have you to myself.
It is.
I can't remember the last time we've embraced each other.
I think it must have been. I think it must have been an Alien Addict show, maybe. I don't think it was a yeah.
Oh, you mean when you probably pissed off the other guests and they went and just left me and you there?
No, I think over lockdown, I remember doing a one-on-one with you on Alien Addict.
Really?
Yeah, that rings a bell. It was just the two of it. It was when you were still interviewing people, and I don't think you had a proper guest, so you just pretended to interview me.
Oh, unless it was like a use situation.
Yeah. It's just like, oh fuck, I've got no one to come on with.
I'll get Lee.
Yeah, I'll get Lee. He's got a podcast. I can pretend I'm interviewing the guy from Musty Audio. Like, no, you're not. I'd have been here anyway. We just haven't got a guest.
These things just sometimes fit, though, Lee. You know,
organic. It's organic.
Yeah.
It's good. So
I do like the new style for Must See, though, Lee. You know,
I like it. Yeah.
When I can make the shows, I like coming on with you and Dave.
Yeah, I like it. I enjoyed the last podcast I did with Courtney as well. That was good fun. Fucking amazed that is still on YouTube. Every day I wake up.
That's still there.
Every day I fucking wake up. I'm convinced the only reason the first one kept getting took down is because I put the word scamdemic in the title.
Either that or the bot recognized it had already been up.
Yeah, maybe.
A while.
But but I mean, like, we go fucking harder in that podcast than the first one. Yeah.
It's a great listen.
It's good. Yeah, I look, I have been accused of being an embarrassment to my family and the savior of free speech with having him on, and I genuinely, that's not even a lie. Those two things were said to me in PMs. Fucking crazy. But yeah, no, I don't fucking agree with everything Courtney's got to say. I think this whole thing of viruses not being a thing is bollocks. But as I had a chat with someone about it the other day, and they were saying, yeah, but like, you know, it kind of just discredits everything else. And you go, right, it's fine, but we're in a strange time with these things, and I think that makes for strange teammates.
Mm.
You know, because like there's loads I don't agree with him, for instance, but I'm definitely on the same team as him because ultimately we're worried about the same things. We just think they're going on slightly differently. I think there's people that I think people lose sight of that, and it's you've got to. I think it was fucking Dave Chappelle, you know, Dave Chappelle, because I think he was talking about Trump at the time. And he said, because somebody asked him about the reason he fled Hollywood. And he said, if we're ever going to change culture, we're going to have to get into bed with people that we probably don't want to be there with. And lots of people sort of
sounds like my 20s.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the way I look at it. You know, it's the guy doesn't believe that any viruses are a thing. I would fuck with it if he said the old big CV isn't a thing. I would fuck with that as an idea and say, oh yeah, it's just the flu. I don't think it is, but I would entertain that idea. But the idea that viruses, like virology, is not real, I find.
I'm sure you get eventually somebody that is in the medical industry that would turn around and go, "What I'm doing is a load of bollocks."
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It's when my big.
I mean, I'd like to think that doctors are, have our best interests at heart. Maybe not all of them. I don't know.
I don't think it's a case of that. I don't think it's a case of like medical professionals not having like the best of intentions. I mean, I've had nothing but good experiences with working with doctors. Yeah, because it's such a fucking symbiotic relationship when you're dragged in on a stretcher dying, isn't it? You know, it's not like you've started a band, they're saving your life. But I've had nothing but good stories, especially nurses. I've never met a nurse that doesn't seem to care about you.
Yeah, no, I've not either.
Regardless of what they probably say in the staff room, it's like, fuck me, that Lee guy, he's been in for like 2 weeks, keeps wanking at 2 o'clock in the morning, doesn't think anybody knows, does he? But that's not a wall, it's a fucking curtain.
I think I once met a nurse that cared a little bit too much. She kept wanting to. She kept asking while I was in hospital if I wanted to have a bath, but a wet bath, a bed bath thing. When I broke my leg, she was really, really over passionate about.
Was she hot?
Not really. No. Well, probably for her age, she was about. I think she was about 60, but she was very determined to wash my testicles. Yeah.
Did you let her?
I think I let her do like the leg area, and said, you know what, I'll hobble into the bathroom. It's absolutely fine. I can clean my own bottom. And
I remember when I was quite sick in hospital. I was wheeled into the shower, and I was just sort of sat there naked in a fucking wheelchair with a shower on me that wasn't particularly nice because I kind of felt like I was being waterboarded because it wasn't like you could move around a lot. You were just sort of there with this shower beating down on you. And these two nurses stood behind me. I thought, well, this is a life low point. And one of them was super hot as well.
Did you have a little bit of a fantasy at the time? Like
no, because there was nothing. There was no masculinity left in me. I couldn't even fucking stand up, let alone get it up. So yeah, that was pretty fucking grim. But anyway, I've digressed into things that clearly still affect me to this day. Yeah, the virology thing, I find it really weird because I know Arthur's come home from school because there's been a bug going around, and all the other little fuckers have got the bug. So loads of people have been off school. Then he comes home, and I look after him, and then I end up sick with the same symptoms he's had, just a grown-up version of it. And I'm not. I can't fucking. I can't agree with the idea that is. It's it's just fucking what did he put it down to, like syncopated,
like aura, like being in sync with each other.
Yeah, syncopated detoxes is the sort of thing. He thinks that essentially the body builds toxins up until the toxins override the body, and then the body has to get rid of the toxins in like mucus or you throw up, that sort of thing. And like the thing is, I mean, a friend of mine, he will listen to this podcast when it comes out, and he's involved in like the sort of the care field, and he said himself, the guys, guys qualified. I don't, I mean, it doesn't matter. There's nothing damning towards him here, but it's probably best not mentioning him. But he was saying like how, like he said, the guys clearly read some like pretty high level science to be talking the way he's talking. He said it's a bit beyond what I understand about the things he's talking about. But I mean,
that's one thing I did get from the interview is that he seems to know what he's talking about.
He's not stupid. I think that, and
100% is definitely not stupid.
Yeah, and that's what really fucking irritates me when I speak to people about having him on. Because first of all, and like I said at the beginning of that podcast, and I will fucking say this to anybody that walks in that door, I really like the guy. He genuinely
seems like a lovely bloke. I told you my missus thought it was Peter Andre.
It's fucking awesome. Like I mean, that's the other thing to think about with this guy. He's deep into his 60s, fit as a fiddle. Like there's not a scrap of fat on him. He's kept a fucking reasonable amount of muscle into that age as well. Yeah. The condition he's in his 60s, I will never be in that condition.
You'd never want to introduce him to your mother or anything like that. Is that?
I'd let Courtney have a go at my mum. Yeah, why not? At least he can't get her sick. Doesn't believe in viruses. But no AIDS coming from Quarters. But genuinely, like he's a genuinely caring person, and that's what I wanted to try and portray in that interview was, because I had a couple of discussions with people online about him, and they said, well, he's a grifter, he's got books to sell. I said, well, oddly enough, you're definitely speaking to the right person here. So because not only do I know because he's told me, but one of my best friends is the printer that prints his books. And I said, I know how much he pays to get those books printed. I know what he sells them for, and I know he makes fuck all from his books. Right. So there's nothing he does in this situation, like in this sort of justice for the jabbed or anything like that,
is a benefit to him.
He makes no money out of any of it. Now, you can put that down to, is it a passion? Is it an obsession? Like that, you can have those conversations, and there's probably foundation to both of it. But I will not accept that he's a con man or a grifter, because if he's a con man, he's the worst con man in the world, because all he's really done is lost from these things. I told you
those are his beliefs.
Yeah, but this is the thing, because I know I know this because I know the guy that he had to pay. So I had it from both people, but he had his fucking bank account stopped because
you
of
told me
what he
about
was
that
doing.
a year ago, I think.
Yeah, he basically had a bullshitty excuse where they gave him a piece of paper. He said, "What the fuck's going on here?" And then the guy turned around and said, "Well, basically, we just don't want your custom anymore." And that's a guy that was brought over to the island to fill 2 jobs in the Manx government on an advisory capacity. So yeah, I mean, like I say, take it for what you will. Take the interview for what it is. But I anyone that was kind of upset with him being on, he will be on again in a few months' time. In fact, it probably won't be as long because I don't get me wrong, like, I fucking deliberated over having him on the podcast and I've been quite, to be honest, I'm glad we're talking about this because I was even considering doing
getting Alex Jones on.
I'd fucking love to get Alex Jones on. I was even like considering doing this is cheaper than therapy just to explain like myself, and the thoughts behind having him on, and why I didn't for so long. And the reason I didn't have him on the podcast because like we'd arranged it. We'd arranged him to come back on a few months ago, and I was still unsure about it because it was about the deaths and the use of the term medical murder with people, and that didn't sit right with me. And then all the information started coming out about the drugs that were being used and things like that. And you go, well, fuck it, actually, that kind of tallies up with what he was saying in the first place. So even if he's got it wrong, my thing was, even if he's come to the wrong conclusion about it, he's not come from the wrong conclusion out of malice or essentially wanting to sensationalize things and talk bullshit. He came from those conclusions because there was some substance, there was some meat to the bones. In the same ways, I mean, you talk about Alex Jones and the court case he's in. Like Alex Jones fucked it with the Sandy Hook thing. But it's, and this is,
I did want to ask you about this. So because you were going to do a show, and I sent you a message today saying, "Not going to lie, Lee."
Yeah, I don't think we won't go deep on it because I think
I kind of want to know. I do want to know. I do want to know what's going on. I'm intrigued.
I think Dave would be good to have on for this as well. But essentially, I take it the whole thing about.
I saw
the Sandy
clip
Hook
of
thing.
him. I saw a clip of Alex Jones in court the other day. That's about as much I know. But I've been on holiday, as you know, very little signal. I had to.
Yeah, but you know the beginning, that the Sandy Hook thing, the Sandy Hook shooting, and the fact that he essentially said that there was no one died. That was his thing. No one died there.
Is this what he did?
That's what he said.
The Sandy Hook shooting, when did that happen?
The school shooting in 2008. I want to say, might be wrong. Someone can fact check me on it. I can.
Well, Alex Jones. That's the one that Alex Jones got terribly wrong.
Yeah, but this isn't the Sandy Hook. Where are we in Wikipedia? Tell me, 2012. Sorry, not 2008. Wasn't a million miles away. So
I'm sure the parents of those kids.
Awful. And this is what really confused me. With that, he's he went balls deep on the nobody died there side of it. And there's I don't even know if they've still got it up, to be perfectly honest. But I'm gonna guess that the guy probably took it down for his own podcast safety. It's what I would have done. But there is those Conspiracy Guys episodes about Sandy Hook, which is about fucking 8 hours. It's less of a podcast, more of an audiobook. It's like their old long form stuff was fucking huge. And there are some weird inconsistencies. There were helicopter cameras that showed people coming out of the front door, running out of the front door, walking around the side of the building, and then going back in the side door and running out of the front door again, like it was to be filmed. I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm saying it looked strange. 2 people, and I think somebody that died at the Boston bombing. I think one of the teachers that died at Sandy Hook also died during the Boston bombing, and this is then being explained away by a news network mistake, which it very well could have been, where they've put the wrong picture up. It's something like that. Again, I'm doing this purely from fucking memory. Ollie is, it would appear, fucking dancing away. So there were odd things, but there's odd things in all these things that get claimed to be false flags. There's always strange things about them. There's always every conspiracy has some meat on the bone, because if it doesn't, it falls to shit right quickly. And it's everything else around the conspiracy can fall to shit. But if you go like we didn't land on the moon. Shadows.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, shadows. The like dust on the landing gear. All that. So there's little anchor points that if you take all the other bullshit away, you go, the shadows are weird. The fact that there's crosses on things that don't line up as if they were actually crosses on the what would you call it, on the negative or whatever, the plate, I think it is. There's anchors there. Flat Earth being the really out there one. There are photographs that are taken at longer distances than what should be taken when you take into account of the Earth's curve. So I don't fucking know anything else, but that's an anchor point for people that believe that conspiracy. So there was anchor points in the Sandy Hook thing, but I don't know. Sorry, I don't know why he went with the no one died thing, because it's there have been false flags, and usually when there's false flags, people die. You know, there can be alternate motives behind things. That's why I find it strange how he went about that. Sorry, Ollie, go on.
No, I was just going to say, one of my best friends has just become a flat earther.
Has he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like big time.
Crazy.
Absolutely loves it. All over. He's all over it.
It's a fucking fun conspiracy, man. It's a
he's not in that land. He's not in the fun land. He's like, but motherfuckers lying to us.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. He's so do you remember when I introduced you to 007?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't turn him, did he? He was on my podcast.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And I know you don't like him. He's not your
no. I don't like him. It's not. I don't like him because I don't know him. But he's full of shit.
He's a bit out there.
The problem was he wasn't out there. I wanted out there. I got boring.
Maybe right. So he complained when I titled my video "Interview with Flat Earther." Yeah. He went, "I'm not a flat earther. I'm a globe denier," because he states the Earth's bigger than what they're saying it is.
I got fucking heat from the flat Earth community because of him. I had to go and find my own flat Earth expert, if you remember, because I got Righty on after that.
Oh yes, I remember. And
Righty was a fucking great interview. He like, for a guy I know that's
fucking amazing accent. I love that accent as well.
Yeah, that played in a few bands and like that I've just known as like from cutting about. He did for a guy that come in green that's never done anything like this, I thought he did a fucking great job at essentially like steel manning a fucking crazy idea.
It annoys me when people dislike flat earthers.
I don't understand the vitriol of any of it, to be perfectly honest. I don't understand the vitriol against conspiracy theorists.
Because I know I don't. I mean, being a flat earther is something that everybody was at one point. Up until what? How many years ago? I don't know. It's
squirrely. It's over 1,000 years. But some of the thing, some people would say it was only 500 years ago. There was, I think, is it Zetetic Astronomy, which was a flat Earth book that came out about 500 years ago, I think. But yeah, and just lately, like there was a document, like Air Force document out that had been declassified, and the flat earthers had squirreled away in that and found lines that essentially were saying the Earth should be treated as a flat stationary plane whilst flying over it. But I mean, then you go into language now, and it says should be treated as. So, I mean, what does that mean? If it, to me, that says if it should be treated as that, then it's not that. It's like you could turn around to someone and say, I don't have a bed for you, but I have a table. So you should be you just treat that as a bed. It's not a bed, it's a table. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I am not a flat earther by any stretch.
No, but it's fun to get involved in. It's fun to look at.
Let me play devil's arsehole for just 2 seconds here. 2 minutes.
To everyone, this is like that's what everyone says when they're actually a flat earther. This is like Ollie turned around and said, "I'm not being racist, but."
Lee, if I turn into a flat earther, I lose probably 70% of my community.
I know you do, yeah. See, this is the thing, though. I think aliens fit better into a flat Earth model than they do in a stellar model. Yeah, extraterrestrial, extra territory. So it's just we're all on the same disc. They're just over the wall,
and it's a disc. It's a disc like a flying saucer.
Yeah,
there you go. Here's the thing with it. I understand it. I understand the distrust. Because when I look at some ISS footage,
it's fake as fuck, Ollie.
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to go that far.
No,
I told you in a text.
Straight up nonsense on the ISS stuff.
There's a glass of water on a table.
Yes.
The water.
That's not on the ISS. That was
that's on the Chinese.
TSS, I can't remember the fucking T word.
Is it in space? It
is in space, in low Earth orbit. Just like it's a small space station. Is it China? Yeah, is it China? Yes, yeah, it's Chinese.
Yeah. China have the top tech. That's on a table. I said this in a text to you. What if that table has its own gravity? What if it's a grav table?
Yeah, but the fluid hasn't. Well, maybe. I mean, maybe it's something crazy. I'm taking the piss. Yeah, no. But I mean, you're talking the realms of a country faking space progress. So,
why would space companies make those mistakes?
Because they
do it on purpose.
Because I think most of the. I mean, I don't
think
know.
About it.
Right? No. Because I'm putting this forward as if it's my thought, and it's not my thought. Yeah. Because I don't know if I was to try and back it with a theory, I would say that millions of dollars are put into NASA. Fuck knows how much is put into the Chinese space agency.
Yeah, but they still must have a checklist. I mean, come on, like floating man check.
Yeah, no, but all
float.
these, I think all these things essentially, and don't get me wrong, I know NASA do fucking work. I know, I'm not daft. We have fucking non-stick.
We've got NASA mates.
We've got non-stick. We have NASA mates. We've got non-stick pans. We've got pens that can write underwater. We have freeze-dried ice cream. All worth the millions of dollars that have been put into NASA. But if I was going to guess, I would say that maybe NASA don't see all of the budget they have, and it's another way to sort of, for want of better words, launder money through different projects so they can be squirreled off into black projects. And lots of space stuff is of a military capacity. And if it's of a military capacity, you don't really want to be telling anybody about it. So what's the best way to do to sort that out? So you don't know what's actually going on, because there's something up there. This is the thing about the ISS. By saying something,
the ISS, there. It's 100% there.
You can fucking see it. It's not. I'm not saying the ISS isn't real. I'm saying that some of the stuff that goes on it is probably classified. So what better way to get around that than to just fucking green screen a load of footage and just like, this is what NASA's doing up there. Isn't it great? We've got fucking crazy hair. We can do backflips, and there's a glass of water there. But we won't talk about the glass of water. And anyway, let's interview school kids, because we can do like live communication between here and there. And they can ask us questions, and it'll be great. And the thing is, they've shown in a video from the ISS, if you remember, that they can use CGI in space.
Yeah. They've got that grid thing, haven't they?
Yeah, but there was actually a video. It was one of the children's ones where they had a live satellite link up with a school, and there was an astronaut on it, and she was explaining things with like floaty things in front of her, and she had a doll materialize into frame with the Star Trek, the Star Trek Beam Me Up Scotty noise and the visual effect.
And so did it look like CGI, or did it look like it was in
It looked like everything else done on the space station. And then she picked that up out of the air and started explaining that. But in doing that, they showed that they can use CGI in those live moments.
Yeah.
So if you can CGI a doll to talk, like when you're doing something for school kids, then you can CGI floaty water, or you can CGI a floaty pen, or or a microphone hanging around till you pick it up. There's also a video of somebody trying to pick something. Something was passed. Like there were two astronauts speaking to each other, and one astronaut passes something to the other.
Yeah, I've seen loads of these, Lee.
But something's fucked up there, because there's nothing. There's nothing to pass. Yeah, there's nothing to pass. So clearly, if I was going to say that it's fucking green screened, whatever they could see on the green screen that they were supposed to be passing to each other wasn't actually there in the live feed. But it's that, again, I mean, the one where they all pixelate and go into the background, always a favorite of mine. And the one where the person disappears going into the doorway. I've shown.
Oh god, that's so weird.
I've shown that to special effects artists, and I've shown that to people that like live, work, and breathe in fucking Final Cut and what's Adobe After Effects, and they've just said, "Oh, it's like that's layers. The layers are fucked up. You can see layers. You can see that." And then you go
just like the video that I've showed you from the news channel.
Yes, yeah. But that's the funny thing, though, isn't it? I think this is where I think conspiracy theories, I think, wire people differently, because it just it weaponizes our curiosity.
I wish Rich was here.
Because if if you get somebody and you show them like that footage and they know what they're talking about, they've worked fucking hundreds of hours in the software that would be used to do these things. And you say, well, look at that. And they go, yeah, that's fucking clearly a green screen. And then literally forget what they just said and carry on with the rest of the day. And you like genuinely, you there, you're going like this I'm friends with the person that I talk about. Not for one fucking minute did it come into his head after seeing that they're faking ISS footage. He just fucking went, yeah, it's fake that, and then carried on. And that's, I mean, we've got so many other things we can do. People are taken up. We've all got our own lives and things. But there are groups of people out there that haven't been wired differently by being interested in this stuff. I mean, we've got a very similar way in to where we were. You know, it's, I think, many people our age that were the right age to be hit, or maybe not even the right age, maybe slightly too young for X-Files, slightly too young for Unsolved Mysteries, but you still watched it because it was fucking wild.
Apparently there's going to be a new X-Files.
I'll get a vein up. I fucking love X-Files. I'll be in. I think they should reboot it, though. I don't say that with many things. I think they should reboot it.
What, not have Fox Mulder?
No, have Fox Mulder, but cast different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, with the ISS thing, like you said, it's definitely up there. I've seen it through. I've personally not seen it through a telescope myself, but I have a very good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. I think he lives in Wales, and he's a good friend of the channel. Sends me UFO footage, and he has actually captured the ISS going straight past the moon. And it's a
guitarist.
It's a nanosecond, like gone straight past that fast. Yeah. Your guitar, one of your guitar players.
My guitarist in my band is an astrophotographer. He's fucking great as well. If you anyone listen to this, I'll try and remember to put the link in the description. In fact, I might ask him, and I will try and use one of his photographs in the thumbnail of this fucking podcast. I think it's brookwassel.com. I'll put the link in because he's fucking.
He takes photographs of space,
of stars, yeah, like the time lapses of stars.
We kept this quiet. We need to get him on Alien Addict.
Do you know what? Right,
I'm a bloody space show, Lee.
I've never had
best friends with a space photographer.
I've never. Well, I mean, we're talking about from the ground. Let me.
Well, I'd be even more impressed if it was from space. No, and he's playing his guitar up there. You're not friends with the guy on the ISS that plays the guitar, right? The big mustache, looks like a porn star. What's his name?
Here we are. Let me bathe your eyes in. Oh, there you go. I'll send you that.
Explain it to your audience.
Yeah, no, I'll just send it to you just so you know where he does. But he's a great photographer. Like he's fucking awesome. But oddly enough, we've never. These are all his photos. We've never discussed UFOs.
Oh wow!
And he spent an awful lot of time looking up.
They're great.
But yeah, no, there's just the conspiracy theory thing is weird, and this gets back into the Alex Jones thing because I said a long time ago when he got deplatformed that this was a fucking awful move, and it was the beginning of cancel culture. We didn't realize, it didn't have a name at the time, but it was the beginning of it. And it's like he went, and then there was so much like, oh, fucking the crazy guy got binned off, and then I don't think Ike was too far behind getting binned off Twitter either.
Do you know I got accused of being a fiddler?
Did he? Didn't know that.
I'll have to find you the clips from that. But yeah,
I don't believe it.
No, I don't either. The guy that said, well, it's the guy. There's an interview where somebody gets a kid with special needs that's about, I'd say, late 20s, and is interviewing him, and he said, "What did David what did David Icke do to you?" And he's got special needs, and he just went, "He bummed me. He bummed me." That's lich.
Are you sure you weren't watching some sort of fucking? Wait, do you remember Brass Eye?
No, it was the oddest thing I'd ever seen, and I've just felt like this poor kid did not get. And David Icke didn't take advantage of him. I think the bloke that interviewed him took advantage of him.
Yeah, I think so. I need to hit his son up, actually. His son agreed to come on this podcast, Gareth.
Ooh, Gareth Icke?
Yeah, I spoke to him on Twitter. He agreed to come on, and then
wow. You gotta make that happen, mate.
I've been dick teased so much. Him, James Dalrymple was supposed to be coming on as well, and proper cock teased. I need to email James Dalrymple actually, because even if he doesn't come on this show, I think Courtney is a worthy guest on his podcast. But look at me trying to name drop, like me and Dalrymple are friends. I just sent we've sent a couple of emails, so at least I can email them back. That's it.
Got a picture on your wall.
The mountains and stuff. Yeah, it's not a picture. It's a wall hanging.
No, of Davenport.
Oh yeah. That
went straight over your head.
And Gaza Ike. But yeah, no, I'd have liked to get Gareth on. Like the apart from just being 1 degree separation from David Icke, which would be one of I reckon top 5, maybe. Like, yeah, I think so. Top 5, if I could pick podcast guests.
I'm surprised that Ike's never been on Rogan. You know,
it's too deep for Rogan, isn't he? Definitely. I'm surprised he wasn't on Rogan earlier. Like in the early days, I could have seen Ike on Rogan. Not now, not Spotify Rogan. And that's not it's not a knock towards Rogan by any stretch of the imagination. It's just...
Do you think he thinks that's risky business?
I think it's risky business. It's definitely risky business. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Rogan does to help Jones once this is over. Because they're clearly good friends. And I genuinely, I think once the dust settles, and he is 46 million Jones has got to pay in compensation. I don't know.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
I don't know what Alex Jones is worth, but that is a chunk of cheddar. The mouse you would need to clean that cheddar up would be the size of Godzilla.
Maybe Joe will help him with his fuck you money.
Well, I mean, don't forget Joe's fuck you money was 100 million, wasn't it? Which is fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. That's half of Joe's fucking deal for Spotify.
The fucking mates, come on.
What's 40 million between mates? I know exactly. Oh, Ollie, you are going to get hit the fuck up soon.
The missus, why have we remortgaged the house?
Why have we remortgaged the house 500 times?
Oh dear. Yeah. The thing is with Joe and Alex, I've seen more of Alex Jones on Joe Rogan because I can't really bring myself to watching Thingy Wars. What's it? InfoWars.
It's difficult to watch InfoWars. I used to watch it back in the day, in the 2013 sort of time area.
But have you ever heard of the conspiracy about Alex Jones?
The fact that he's controlled opposition.
No, the fact that some people think he's Bill Hicks.
Oh, yeah. Makes no sense. That makes no sense. There's no way.
Age as well.
Yeah, no way of Bill Hicks. Let's face it, Bill Hicks, when Bill Hicks was not what you would call a healthy man. There is no way Bill Hicks, all this time on,
I don't think they look like each other.
Oh, they do look like each other. There is a passing resemblance there. There's a resemblance.
Ish.
But there's just no way that he could he would still be in that condition. Like
has he ever addressed it?
I think he's joked about it. Like I know because that's always the thing. I think because Alex Jones is another one of those people. I think if you knew Alex Jones, I think he'd be a nice guy. I think he would be a nice fucking guy.
I would like to have a drink with him.
Him, Eddie Bravo, Jesus Christ, take me.
Can you imagine him, Eddie Bravo, get Joe Rogan and get Lex Friedman drunk?
Just like throw Brian Callen in there as well, just because he's funny. Yeah, it's it'd be fucking awesome. But I forgot what I was going to say now. But yeah, sorry, he was on the Rogan. Jones was on the Flagrant podcast, and that's a good podcast for anyone that doesn't listen to it already. And he was fucking great on that. Like he was, and the problem is his stick is it's his best friend and his worst enemy, because he has to be this fucking crazy, slamming the fist on the table. How he hasn't had a heart attack, I have no idea.
Does he drink a lot?
I think, yeah. There was a really good one, actually. In fact, it might be one of my favorite podcasts ever. Tim Pool had Alex Jones and Joe Rogan. Tim Pool, Alex Jones.
Seen it, watched it.
Joe Rogan and Michael Malice in a camper van.
This year?
Yeah.
It was brilliant, yeah. It was just carnage.
The best podcast that's ever existed. If you like, I love Michael Malice as well. He's fucking great. But yeah, it was just fucking phenomenal entertainment. And I think sometimes we've lost that, haven't we? Like we've lost the
don't give a shitness.
Yeah, and the fact that David Icke sold fucking Wembley out 2 nights in a row to talk about fucking interdimensional lizards. Wembley Stadium. 2 nights. I would have
loved to have gone and seen
2 nights in a row. He did 2. I think his set was like fucking 8 hours. Like it was a full day's graft going to watch Icke talk.
It was you watched him for 8 hours.
I didn't watch it. God no, behave. But I'm just saying. Oddly enough, my estranged brother that I would argue had never spoken to because he left when I was 5. He went to it, but yeah, we lost the ability to go. Like Icke filled Wembley up twice. That's like, in music terms, unless you're like the Rolling Stones or Muse or someone like that, filling the Wembley once is wicked. Twice. Back to back.
With people that believe the Queen's a lizard.
With people that believe the Queen's a lizard. And the thing is, at that time when that happened, there was no campaigning at the gates to get it closed down. There was no "this is hate speech" and stuff like that. You could be in 2 camps. Your camp was, this guy's going to tell me so much truth, my head's going to explode. Or there was the camp that I was in, which was going, it's fucking hilarious that David Icke has sold Wembley out. hilarious. But we don't seem to be able to have that anymore. It's like a section of the "this is fucking hilarious" crowd have gone that, oh well, this is dangerous speech, which I fucking hate that term.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, it's really weird. And don't get me wrong, this like there is such a thing as hate speech. I hate that when people turn around and say, "Oh, there's no real thing as hate speech." Well, of course there is. If you like look at World War II, when you had massive Nazi rallies that ended up in the fucking eradication of fucking millions of Jews, that can be quite easily looked at as fucking hate speech. You know, it's when you are rallying your country and country sympathizers that leads into the fucking extermination of a people. I think that can be legitimately classed as hate speech. If I happen to call you him instead of Zer, that's not hate speech. It's not on the same level. It might annoy you slightly. Might annoy you that I've forgot your fucking made up pronoun, but it's not hate speech. But we've lost this ability to take the piss out of ourselves, or to and it's not even maybe to take the piss out of ourselves because of the woke PC culture. We've lost the ability to take the piss out of other people, because if we take the piss out of the wrong people, those people can have us sacked. I think that's the problem. That I had a discussion with two of my friends. It's one of my favorite groups, like Twitter groups. I've got my messaging groups. It's always a good time. And I've been saying to people for the past 5 years that within, I've given it a 2-year limit now. I think it's going within 2 years that there will be a culture war movement around pedophiles, and you will have them enter the LGBTQ plus community. There will be flags.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm convinced it's going to happen. Convinced. And there was a video up of a, was it teacher or a psychologist? I think it was a psychologist.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a complete difference there between somebody who's...
Oh, no, there is. There's a huge difference. Huge. But the thing is, I believe that the people that are pushing for the demonstrators for some of these things, I don't believe care about causes. I think they're in it for intellectual combat. And in some cases, genuine, real fisty combat. And I think that the pushback that will come against that will be so fucking delightful for those people. They'll because they will feel victimized because they're fighting for equality. They're fighting for people. There was I'll send you the video of this. Like I said, I'm sure it was a psychologist, where she was talking said that we need to destigmatize it by not using the P word, and it needs to be referred to as minor attracted people now, because
or just a nonce.
Well, that would be preferable, but it has to be minor attracted people now because, and I quote, it's essentially racism.
What the fuck is this planet that we're living on?
I don't know.
Now?
But you see, this is the thing, and it's easily laughed off, but it's fucking wild. And I think if there's something I've learned over the past 2 years, rightly or wrongly, I might be a fucking idiot. I remember I always used to say, and back in the day when my friend Stuart McFall used to do the podcast with me, Stuart has come back on the podcast to do a one-off with me to talk about his book soon as well. It should be 2 weeks' time, hopefully. I remember in early days of Rona, like OG Rona days. And they were shutting down the towns in China. They blew the roads up in Wuhan. There was all these videos coming out of people getting fucking welded into their houses and stuff. And we did a podcast. We were talking about how fucking crazy this was. And Stuart turned around and said, "Yeah, but we know liberty over here." I remember it so clearly. He said, "We know liberty over here. That could never happen here. We could never have lockdowns here because people aren't used to being controlled." And if there's anything I've learned over the past 2 years, it's I will never say that can't happen here about anything. And maybe that's what's opened me up much more to things than I ever have been. Because I think that Rubicon's crossed where you go, oh shit. Like there's no difference. There's no there's cultural differences, and there is nicer places to live in the world, and there is worse places to live in the world. But ultimately, in the same as that you've had empires that have risen and fell, there is no fucking reason that where we are can't become the worst place in the world if the wrong things happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you've said a few times to me offline that you worry about your little boy, the world he's going to grow. I've got 2 little boys. I worry about that. I really don't give a shit if you're gay, lesbian, straight, transgender. I couldn't give a shit. I think they're all nice people. I've never met anybody that I think's bad. What I give a shit about is when my 6-year-old boy hears about stuff like that in school. He doesn't need to hear about that in school.
Well, I
don't think my little boy needs to hear about straight love in school either. I don't think it's a child. I couldn't give a fuck. Fuck who you want. Be what you want. That is the world. That's the world we live in, and that is how it should be. You should be able to be whoever you want. I'll love you. I'll kiss you. I'll have a pint with you in the pub. I couldn't give a shit if you took your dick between your legs. It's fine. I don't care. But I just don't understand why it's almost like, and I think the people who are the LGBT community will agree, and I know they will, because
I think you're right. I think the majority would agree. Yeah,
would totally agree that why does a child need to know? Why does a child need to know? It's got no reason. A child doesn't need to know about any sort of sex. That's all.
My problem with this, it's not just that. Like I have a real problem with. Realistically, I know parents do it, but I kind of think it's the
media that's doing it.
No, but it's the parental role to try and make your children good people. So you try and make your children good people in the best way.
Innocent,
no, but it's relative though, isn't it? You try and make people good people in the sphere of what you believe is good people. I found something fucking wild out the other day. Papua New Guinea. They take children, they take boys off their mothers about 6 years old, yeah, and then they get put with a, what did they call it? It was like a semen father or something like that.
What?
And then those people essentially, like they one of the things is putting like a spike up the nose, and then it's another thing is I'm sure it's Papua New Guinea. If I've got this very wrong, I'm fucking sorry. Sorry about the country, but I'm fairly sure I'm right. And then, but they don't believe that a child can become a man without ingesting another man's semen.
What?
Yeah. But this is but again, right?
I mean, I'm all for respecting other cultures, but definitely
no.
Not
But
that
this is the duality, isn't it? This is like essentially what's going on is everyone's trying to raise children in the best way they think that they can do it. So that's it. It's kind of down to a cultural thing and a parental thing. Over here, we put the onus more on the parent, which is kind of what I want because I'm a parent. But my biggest issue with all this stuff is, and thankfully, it doesn't seem to be happening over where I am. Maybe I don't know what the school's like in the UK. Seems pretty fucking crazy with some of the stuff that goes on in the US. The Isle of Man is a little bit backwards. We're always like a decade behind the UK, I think, in some respects. And I'm fairly fucking happy about that right now. I've never liked it before in my life, but I'm fairly fucking happy to be in fucking bumpkin country right now. But the thing is, like, I'm a fairly fucking what I used to consider liberal guy. I think there's
me too, mate. Me too. Yeah.
No, I think that's the thing. I'm a liberal in the. I think Dave pointed out that I'm probably slightly. In America terms, I would probably edge slightly on Republican now because I want less government involvement in me. But as far as culturally, I've no problem with fucking for any sexuality. I've no issue with fucking transgender people. I've no issue with any of this stuff. And the thing is, I came to that conclusion and I moved forward into those things with being a child of parents from fucking the 40s and all those people that were around. I remember being that sort of pretty lefty kid in the pub when you were like 18 and somebody would say a racist joke and you go, oh, you shouldn't say those sort of things. I remember being that kid. But the thing is, I got to where I am right now on my own with what I was looking at and taking in various things from various people. I didn't have any of that at school. I went to school to essentially what you supposedly do is to learn the tools that will help you get through life. Those tools don't involve cultural programming. It's not it's not a teacher's job. If you've got a maths teacher or a history teacher or an English teacher, it's not their place to impart their cultural language on you.
So you know the difference when you're a kid, and I do think it definitely is how your parents have been with you, but also how you are as a person. You know what you know how to be good to other people, no matter what, and accept other people. And I think this huge push, there's no need for it.
It does feel like a push as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really
our
like
kids,
push.
My two boys know to accept. So my uncle who's passed away now, my uncles and their great uncles, they were together for God, I think 60 years. And when I introduced my little boy to my oldest, because my youngest wasn't born, I said, these are your uncles, great uncles, you know, because but when I grew up I was introduced to them as my uncles, and there was not one point as a child that my mum said, oh, your Uncle David is fucking your Uncle Colin. You know, there was not, there was none of, it was like, they love each other. They're together. That's all that needed to be said. And I kind of worked it out for myself after a while, But now there's the need to put it on Netflix. There's a need to put it into children's TV. We've just been watching Buzz Lightyear tonight, and it's just like I don't really get the need for. I'm not offended by it. I couldn't give a shit that there's a lesbian.
No. But that's the thing. I think we're not. Excuse me. We're not given the room anymore to talk about things, so that's what makes discussion hard. I'm lucky in a sense that I don't care anymore. That's like I really don't. I'm a good person. I don't. If people, I know people have got. I know people I know are upset with me because of podcast stuff now. Like it's bled into my my life where I know there is people out there which used to, if not, no friends, but definitely acquaintances and friends of friends that
I've had when it's like, nah, don't like
I know someone that turned around to my current girlfriend, and when she started going out with me and said, "You do realize he's transphobic and an anti-vaxxer." And you just think, oh, fuck, no. Hang on a second. Where I am is a drummer that plays in a fucking local band over here. What I am is a painter and decorator. What I am is Lee Stevens, the person that's been fucking on this earth for 40 years now. Yeah, Joe, the same person that would be like you've probably seen play gigs. That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm not fucking new fucking words you can attach to me just because I don't fucking salute. Go absolutely fucking on we go, sir. Whoosh.
Yeah, mate. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why people think that anybody who's questioning this is either homophobic, transphobic, or anything like that. No, it's not. What we're saying is
that I made it. It's the allegations that have made it difficult to talk about, and that's where But I'm a big fan of Douglas Murray. Big fan. Madness of Crowds, I would say, if not changed my life, definitely influenced it. And I've watched hours of his talks. I remember him saying at one point that when someone was saying it's difficult to talk about sort of like the culture wars when you know what it could do to your career, and realistically for him, it's no risk because his actual career is talking about the culture wars. So there's no thing there. He said, but his take on it was that anybody that believes this, that has the ability to speak up and at least and be honest, to say, not speak up as in like I'm a fucking activist, but just be honest and say what you believe, has the duty to do so. And if you can get away with doing that, without it destroying your life, if I was to work for a big company, for instance, I know that'll hit home with you for certain things, but I'd probably feel slightly more. It's.
I
suppose it makes it. Yeah, but I mean, it makes it easier for everyone. We don't do video. I think video is a different thing. It's that there's podcasts are a bit still Wild West, aren't they? Video's easily traceable.
Other things that have come and bit me on the ass with Alien Addict. A few that
I'm not surprised. I'm not,
it's.
But isn't it weird? Like you can't talk about the culture war stuff because people want to fucking cancel you, which I think is fucking hilarious. You can't cancel someone. To actually cancel someone is to murder somebody. That's what cancellation should be. What you're trying to do is you're grassing on them. You're trying to you're annoying somebody. You're annoying someone into action. That's what you're doing. Like, oh, fucking Dave said this. I think Dave should lose his job. So you're annoying his boss into doing something. But I don't get it. I find having difficult conversations about things intellectually stimulating. I do. And that, whether someone disagrees with me, whether they don't, it makes me think. And the amount of times I've listened back to a podcast, and I think this is the fucking beauty about doing podcasts. We've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. Neither of us have looked at a phone.
Nobody else realizes that we're both naked.
No one knows we're naked. No one knows you're erect, which is kind of weird and a compliment. But think about that. Anyone listen to this podcast? When was the last time you sat down and had a conversation with somebody without looking at your phone, without checking your text messages or your emails, or did somebody tweet something, or did you see this video? And it's a strange duality because we're doing this over the internet, so we're using technology to do it. It's weird, but the realist interactions I have with people, barring a couple of friends when we go to the pub, like a friend here and a friend there, or like if I go to the Manx with my friend Ben, or now and again if I meet my friend Stuart, barring very few like social interactions, the realest conversations I have are because of podcasts. And I heard a great thing. There's a guy, he was on Rogan the other day, Williams, I think is his surname. I forgot his name. I think it might be Michael Williams. Anyway, his podcast is called his podcast called Modern Wisdom. He was an ex Love Island contestant turned fucking intellectual. He's really good. And so
he's probably a beautiful guy.
He's beautiful. He's fucking beautiful, man.
Can't say that, Lee.
But
it's going against everything that you disagree with.
No, sorry, yeah.
You can't find another man attractive.
Shit. Just outed as a closet homosexual. But he had this great thing where he said, I keep recommending now to people that, and I'm going to steal his idea. I'm going to keep bringing it up because I think it's a good thing for people to get a friend and record a fake podcast, even if you don't you don't intend to put it up. Just sit down, put a microphone on, and talk to each other for 40 minutes, an hour.
Is this why you got me on your own? On my own?
No, we're on our own because Dave fucking did one on us. But I just think it's such a I'm a big believer now in trying to find little things and trying to do little things that better myself and trying to do things now and again that I don't like. It started as like a bit almost, and I thought I could turn it into a bit actually if I did some more stand up. That with gas prices in the UK, it has like never been a better time to download the Wim Hof method. And so it started as a joke in my head, and what happened was I had to turn the boiler off in my downstairs for something. Forgot about it. Didn't turn it back on. Went to bed. Woke up the next morning. Went to run a shower. Cold water was cold. Was too lazy to go downstairs. Had a cold shower, and I now have cold showers. It's just the only showers I have is cold showers. Been in it for over a week now, and there is something. 2 weeks, sorry, over 2 weeks. There is something I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why.
Erotic.
No, not erotic. Fucking get head out of the gut. We're having a deep fucking intellectual conversation, Oliver. Act your name. Oliver sounds posh. It sounds like you went to public school. Yeah, Ollie. I went to school with Ollie. Did you want to do? He was a damn good croquet player. Just fucking pretend. But there's something deeply rewarding about waking up in the morning, knowing you're going to have a cold shower, and then going, I don't want to do it. I just want to, I'm already warm. I'm already warm. Even though you're a bit sore because you woke up, you got like a bit of pain in your hip.
How long have you been doing
pain
this
in
for?
your shoulder. A couple of weeks.
I bet you feel amazing after.
Yeah. And there's something deeply rewarding of when you get in the shower and go, it's cold. And then you go, it's not too bad. And then slowly you realize you're not cold. And all like those little aches and pains you had when you went to bed have now disappeared because the cold water's taken the inflammation away. And it's the idea that before I even have a coffee in the morning, I do something I don't want to do. And there's something really cathartic about that, like mentally. Like would
you say it's changed you?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I feel just in general through the day, I'm interested to see what I was going to change more. I'm interested in getting a tin bath in the back garden for winter time to maybe do some like the cold plunges in like ice water.
Oh, so my wife's mate, well, from her old job,
yeah,
she does that. She goes to random lakes in winter, and she travels abroad to like Iceland and does these dips in just ice water, and she loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot you can do with a bath in your back garden.
It's like you bath. Well, essentially, you're just looking at temperature, aren't you? You know, it's fucking cold in the UK. It's fucking. You stick some water in a tin bath the night before you go to bed. Go to bed and wake up in the morning. What you've got yourself is a cold fucking bath the next day.
How do you explain that to the neighbors, though? You know,
right? Genuinely, I've done it with these neighbors on my.
Have you?
My right. I don't know what it is for you. Them, I've lived here for 5 years, 6 years, never spoke to them. Left-hand side, spoke to her twice. My last house, only had one neighbor in my last house because there was one there. Because like people say, oh, my neighbor that lives 6 doors down. No, for me, my neighbor lives next door. If you live more than one door down to me, you're fucking dead already. But my last house, I had 3 neighbors. I didn't speak a single word to any of them. Just like I'm either the best neighbor or the worst neighbor, depending on which way you want to do.
I would say it's the best because
I just want to be left alone. I don't fucking.
I'm the same.
If like people turn around and say like like a neighbor's complain about fucking. I can hear your television. Turn your television up louder. If you can hear next door's TV over your TV, turn yours up a little bit louder, and eventually you will find this equilibrium where they can't hear you and you can't hear them, and it's fucking fine. I'm not easily aggravated by people.
So me and the missus, we moved in very quickly together, and when we first moved in together,
what did you not have a lot of stuff?
No, I used to live in an apartment.
That was a better joke. That was a better joke.
That went straight over my head.
We moved in really fast. Did you not have a lot of stuff?
Anyway, we moved in. We moved in together, and put me off now. My next door neighbors, we moved into this really nice place. I said we couldn't believe we'd found it. You know, it was really nice little apartment block, and it was quite posh actually. But it wasn't too pricey.
Suits your first name.
And thank you. We moved in there.
What's your surname?
I can't say that.
Oh, you don't want to say it here, right?
On here,
yeah, that's
because
fine.
nobody on Alien knows my surname.
All right, cool.
One person who managed to track it down. You know my surname. You're friends with me on Facebook, you turd.
I'm fucking dyslexic as well, aren't I?
Oh, you mean I'll tell you.
Yeah. I can't fucking read it.
It's Portuguese, right?
You
just like you tell. Can't you tell?
Are you an immigrant?
My great granddad is, yeah.
But was he allowed?
I don't know. Probably just.
Would Nigel Farage have been happy about
it? No, he would not. He'd been deeply offended by it. But anyway, we moved into this apartment, and this one day I'm cooking, and I get a bang.
Stairs and that just together.
I get this bang at the door, and this little old man stood at the door, and he just went, "Are you cooking onions?" I'm like, yeah. Turn your extractor fan on. Fuck. This is my next door neighbor. Anybody, and bear in mind, I'm in my 20s here. I'm not blaring music out or anything like that. I'm not like smoking the whole apartment out with weed. I'm cooking some onions for some liver.
Would you like to know the side of my neighbor's side, which I've spoke to? Would you like to know the last interaction I had with them 3 years ago?
Stop pissing over my fence.
No. Every morning I used to get up and I would make Arthur toast, and I'd cut the crust off for him. And every morning we would put the toast crusts on the windowsill of the back garden, and while I was sorting the rest of the bits for his breakfast out, we'd watch the little birdies come along and peck at the toast. Fucking beautiful moment. Like literally a cunt hair away from a Disney film. That's how fucking beautiful. Sorry, not a Disney film now. Disney film in the 80s. A fucking Disney film in the 80s. That's how pure these moments were. So the neighbor comes and knocks on the door. I hear the door. I'm downstairs. I can't be bothered going to the door. So I carry on doing what I'm doing in this very studio.
So you sent your son?
No. My girlfriend shouted down and said, do you know the neighbour's been knocking on the door? I shouted up and said, I'm fully aware the neighbour was knocking on the door. She said, do you not think you should go and find out what happened? And I hate that. Every man has had that from their partner going, do you not think you should? Blah, 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 blah. And whenever someone says, do you not think, that's what they're actually saying is, you know that thing you really can't be bothered doing? Do it. So she said, do you not think you should go and find out what it is just in case something important? So like, oh, fucking fine. I'm going to go and do it because at some point within the next fucking 6 hours that we're awake, I'm probably going to want to try and have sex with you at some point. So I went next door, opened the door. The lady next door to me turned around and said, have you been feeding the birds? I said, She said, have you been feeding the birds, like in the morning? As well, said like 4 crusts off one piece of bread. She said, yeah, well, have you not noticed how many more seagulls are flying around my house these days? And it was one of those moments where, you know, you're not meaning to offend somebody, but you forget who you're talking to. And I'm awful at going for a bit. Like I'm awful at trying to do the joke as if I've got an audience. Awful for it. So I turn around to her and I quote, do I look like the fucking Seagull King to you? And those were pretty much the last words I said to my next door neighbor.
So you're now known as the Seagull King?
No, do I look like the fucking Seagull King to you? All right. It's a piece of bread. Fuck off.
I couldn't be asked.
Oh no, it's fucking. She also tried to say that the seagulls were eating a fucking roof. How many people have had their roof eaten off by seagulls? Raise your hand, everybody in the world, if a fucking seagull has eaten your roof off. I feel I'm going to have, even with the sample size of the world, I think I'm going to have a fucking slow uptake on that number.
The globe.
Even if it's everybody on the plane, it's still going to be the same.
It's always the same on the plane.
But yeah, but I try and get this fucking show back into some sort of fucking area of normalcy. I worry, like, I'm genuinely worried about the sort of, I mean, this show, it's kind of, this one's much more in the vein of what Musty already used to be honest. But for those of us that like to talk about conspiracy theories, which fucking over the last 2 years, I will fucking say it, that conspiracy theories have been fucking spoilers, not fucking conspiracy theories. I think just like Alex Jones was used to clamp down on like other conservative and right-wing speakers during the run-up to the election, which it didn't actually fucking help in the end, did it? You had the likes of Milo Yiannopoulos was like cancelled. I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos is still only on thing. I like he fucked himself on Rogan, and then he was fucked off everything else as well. I quite like Milo. I read his book, Dangerous. It's a good book, but I think this new Jones thing, and this is going to go for everything, including your channel, like including the UFO stuff, because for a while the UFO stuff has been like the safest. I think between UFO and cryptids are like the most like sanitary conspiracy theories to talk about on YouTube, aren't they? No, but nobody's getting banned for.
I don't think mine's really a UFO channel.
No, I don't think. I don't think it is anymore. No, but
it's a what the fuck is it channel?
Yeah. I think that's fair. Knowledge addict is what you should change it to.
Knowledge and my brain don't go together.
Paranormal addict, even, but I think it's going to be used to clamp down on us, on all of us, like the alternative media, if you want. You know, I can see the end of this sort of thing.
What they're gonna do?
Just ban it.
So your channel's gone.
Channel's gone. This is what I think. Podcasts will be the last, just because of the way we do it. Your man, forgot his name. Fuck. That came up with the idea of the RSS feed, which is what podcasts use. He like podcasts were actually set up in a way to be uncontrollable, essentially. So when you subscribe to an RSS, when you subscribe to a podcast feed, you're just subscribing to an RSS feed, essentially. So that's like if you sign up to the Patreon, but you've always got to host it somewhere. So that's where I think the crux will be, is where the hosts can be hit, not the content creators. So then it's going to be a case of like, Lee wants to keep doing Musty Audio. Lee's not stupid, so that would probably be okay. I could pony up. I wouldn't want the extra outlay, and I would definitely fucking do a big drive Patreon-wise before this happened, to try and fund it so I didn't have to. But I understand a little bit. I could get a private server sort of thing, you know, and there's something I could host the podcast myself. I wouldn't want to. It'd be a fucking ball ache. I like using Acast. And a little plug, anybody that wants to start a podcast, get in touch with me. I'll give you my Acast link, and I get £5 if you join up or something like that. So it's not a lot of money, but fucking helps.
I think if
So
them days come, Lee, and we have to get a private,
you're
thingy,
fucked on YouTube.
No, we'll
Fucked on
start.
YouTube.
We'll do it together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, we could get you, me, Dave. We could go different nights.
Gano.
Rich Gano.
I said Giordano, Giordano, is it?
Just know it. I like Gargano.
Gargano sounds like. Do you know what Gargano sounds like? It sounds like a Godzilla monster. Godzilla
you know
versus Gargano.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying though? If we're gonna do, if that becomes a thing,
I think that's what's important. Networks are important.
We'll just create one big fucking whack off platform.
Yeah,
and every night of the week you'd get a fucking show.
I think I got a message on Patreon the other day from somebody. Sorry, if I knew we would talk about this, I'd have. Mind you, it was DM, so I probably wouldn't have said the name anyway. But I don't know off the top of my head. So you can't put Patreon things on here, mate. This video isn't going live. Anyway, to be fair, it probably could do actually, but it was when someone messaged you. That's a pigeon. I love when people message and say like, "Oh, I really like the fact that you talk about these things," and it makes me feel, even if I'm not, it makes me feel like I'm doing something important for somebody. If somebody out there in the amount of people that listen to this podcast, like take some sort of fucking like just some sort of comfort for like maybe these people are in a position where they're where I am with the fucking vaccine, but they can't say it because their family are all done. It's difficult. It's difficult to speak to people that when you're worried about what these things are. I think that's why this sort of media entertainment fucking bullshit, I don't know what it is. I think that's why it's important. Because people don't have. There's so much of everything. Like there's so much entertainment everywhere, and it's entertainment you have no contact with. I think it's nice, and I know because I know I've had it as well with, especially like much bigger podcasters than me and much bigger YouTubers and stuff like that, and even like hooking up with yourself and doing the like stuff with when Rich is on and things and connecting with those other people. It's nice. It's a feeling of sort of grounding, knowing that there are other people out there that you can talk to things about. And I think there's so little of that outside of what we do that's why it has to disappear.
Yeah, we're a small community, right? Very small minority.
But yeah, it's just I just find it really interesting. Find it really interesting what the internet opened up media in a way, and the internet and technology, opened up media. I'm going to ask you to come in a little bit because you sound like you were a million miles away from me.
Sorry, mate. Sometimes I think this mic is more powerful than it is. It's just not.
Oh, you need an arm. You need an arm because it's.
I need an arm.
It's fine. You just move it around with you. It's great. I think it's amazing how we've got to this point where technology and infrastructure, at least where we are, have improved to the point where it's kind of easy. You know, it's like when I started doing podcasts, it was still a bit of a ball ache, to be honest. And I didn't even get on the early doors ones, but it was still a bit of a ball ache. Now it's dead easy. And like you can, I've done it before. Like anyone, like there's no There's no fucking gatekeeping with me. I've helped people set fucking podcast up, like, until exactly what software I use, what settings I use for it, what mics I use. I think it's fucking great for people to start doing podcasts. But it's amazing we've got to this position where it's so easy to do, and then all this fucking... It should be a renaissance. The internet should be a renaissance because there is so much speech and so much conversation, but it doesn't seem to be going that way. It seems to be falling a fucking part at the seams. I don't think that's people's fault. I think it's bad actors. I think it's international interest. I think it's the fact that... Did you see Elon Musk the other day said as little as 16 million accounts on Twitter might actually be people.
Wow. And how many accounts are there on Twitter?
Let's find out. Let's use the internet. Active Twitter users. 192 million daily active users. Twitter has 180 million monetizable. Twitter,
wow. So 16.
Crazy, isn't it? So
out of a room of 200 people, 16 of them are real.
So I take it he means... see, that's per month. What's... Right. Twitter currently has 396.5 million users. So I'm guessing when Musk said as little as 16 million of those could be real people, I believe he's talking about the US.
Right.
Yeah. I could be wrong. Maybe he thinks it's that, but it seems too much. But don't forget, that's going to be fucking scalable. So if only 16 million of the users in the US are real, that means that you're going to get a much smaller minority of people that are real from the UK. You're going to have a much smaller minority of people from the Philippines, from fucking Japan, from not China because they don't use it. But this terrifying thing here is, like, everything we talked about before, culture wars wise, is driven by social media. It's all driven by social media. The news, the mainstream media news, which you think about as like BBC and Sky, they ebb and flow off the flow of social media just because it's a bigger sample size to go off. I think that's why there's such disparity between what you see. You see, in companies, like, we'll use the whole woke thing as a launch pad. You see companies, the whole reason you have that saying of the get woke, go broke thing is because there's fucking ground into it. We've seen it destroy franchises. Multi-million-dollar franchises have just fucking gone by the wayside. Men in Black, that was a big one for me. Ghostbusters as well. Ghostbusters different Ghostbusters, dreadful movie.
Ghostbusters is a dreadful movie.
The reboot, the all-female one.
Oh, okay, yeah, shite. Shit.
And that's so because I'm not against it all. The only good thing about that film was the Venkman character, the girl that was in Hunger Games as well. She was fucking phenomenal. She's phenomenal at everything.
Some funny girls in that film.
It was just terrible script.
It's just
really terrible script. And
if it had been done well, would I have given a shit that it was all a female cast?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Have you watched the new one with the kid? Is that even out yet?
I started watching. It was really good. It started really good. I think that's written by Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. So have you watched it? I
watched half of it, and my son wants to turn it off because it's too scary. So I want to go back and watch it. I haven't watched it.
Okay, so that sounds good. I don't know. Is it what's is it? Oh, you fucking downloaded that shit, didn't you?
No, it's been out for ages, like ages.
What's it on? What's it on? Where can I watch it?
Amazon probably. You probably have to rent it still. But...
I tell you what, I did watch the other day. Prey.
Good, apparently.
Very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, probably going to keep that for my new reaction video channel with Susie. There's a couple of things.
A few people doing reactions of Prey.
Yeah, that's cool.
Predator looks good.
Yeah, that's good. I love Predator. It's great. I'm glad they're not trying to staple it with Aliens, because that was never a mix that worked.
Great for the comics.
Yeah, not so much for the films.
Comics have been going for fucking years, though.
Yeah, but so just get back on to finish thing, then we can talk whatever we want. I think that's the disparity between like critic scores and actual people scores, is that the critics are playing to social media. So they're, let's say Chappelle's special is a good example of this. Critics pan the closer, like pan it, like lazy, fucking transphobic, awful. User score is 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Fucking people love it. But I think the critics are playing to social media. But the reason social media swings to the critics is because most of the people on social media aren't actually fucking real people. They're fucking bots. It's dead easy to find out as well. If someone says something fucking salacious to you or argues with you or on social media, and you click on their account and they're following 2 people and have 0 followers and started their account fucking 10 minutes ago, they're not a real person. Just don't engage with it. I find it fucking wild how much of that I get these days. It's like,
have you had a good conversation with a bot?
No, but the weird one was when somebody got me on Facebook. I said something on Facebook, and somebody posted at my personal Facebook page, which I don't have many friends on Facebook because I don't have many friends. But no, I don't use Facebook a whole amount. But somebody screenshotted pictures of my old tweets and put it in the comment section of something that I commented on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page.
I'd be quite flattered with that.
I was fucking very flattered. I thought this is it.
Yeah, I've made it.
I've got a stalker, got an online stalker, and I don't understand. I don't understand why people try that sort of thing with me. It doesn't fucking work. But yeah, I get a lot of it. I get a lot of people commenting on things I post that are just not real accounts. It's bizarre. I don't have a huge fucking presence either. So and that's not me saying, oh, I must be onto something. What I'm saying is I haven't got a huge presence online, at least on social media. So that kind of means that's happening to everybody. So I don't know. I don't know how it fixes itself. I think we've come too far. I think we're too far.
I don't think you're going to see a U-turn. You either like it or lump it. You know?
Well, no. But the thing is, I don't see it staying at this level, though. That's the thing. It's going to get worse. You know, we're not going to stagnate where we are. Although it does appear that fucking Meta's fallen on its fucking cockhole, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like Facebook have lost a load of money in Meta.
I'm not down for that life.
I don't think I am either. I think it'd be
I do. If it was just dabbling in it every now and again,
I think you'd have to. Like, I'm sure there's people out there that fucking hate the internet, but still buy stuff on Amazon.
And still masturbate.
Everyone masturbates. So yeah, I'm sure there will be like this is the thing. I've always wondered the like technology left my dad behind. And I always looked at myself as a bit of a futurist. You know, I was always interested in technology. I was always like, especially when technology became mobile. And I don't know why I said mobile instead of mobile.
It's because of your audience, mate.
Maybe. Yeah, like when phones became a thing, I'm not exaggerating.
Cell phones.
Yeah, but I'm not exaggerating when I said I've definitely gone through years where I've had fucking 8 mobile phones in a year. Definitely. You know when the technology was growing so fast
So
and
quickly,
changing,
you're like, oh, I need
changes.
to have that one.
I had a Mitsubishi phone.
Wow.
I had a phone made by a fucking car company at one point. I did like that phone as well, but at the time it probably it'd be awful now. But yeah, so I always just took it for granted that I would continue this feeling of like wanting to know what the new thing is. But as I've got older, I've realized that there might be a more insidious nature behind it. And I think that's the thing. The shit I still think is cool. The people that are fucking implementing it is where I have the issues.
Yeah. The tech's cool. What it can do is cool. But also what it can do is destroy what we have right now.
So, well, it's already done that, right? It's already destroyed civilization to a certain extent, or at least if it hasn't destroyed it, it's fucking battered it. It's battered the way people interact with each other.
There is no going back to.
What do you do in the supermarket?
Usually masturbate in the frozen aisle.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll get in trouble for that. But if let's just say you're not doing a huge shop, but you're in a queue, so you've just got a basket of stuff.
I'll probably look at Twitter or something.
Of course you do. People used to speak to each other.
Yeah, like this is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, can they not get another staff member on to?
Yeah, and it's bullshit, and it fucking.
I never
nothing.
do that. I hate it when people do that.
No, it's bullshit, and it means nothing. But it was genuine interaction with people, and it.
When was the last time you saw a kid give a shit about what was in the cereal box?
I never even thought about. Do you know? I've never even thought about what's in cereal boxes. I don't give my son cereal.
Do you remember that though? When you were a kid and you fucking
go
shopping with
I used
your mum
to
and dad
choose
and
the cereal. I choose it over what the toy was.
Yeah, you'd see that there was a toy in that cereal box.
My fucking weight problem is because of fucking Power Ranger toys and Rice Krispies. I'm convinced of it.
There was always a good toy as well.
Yeah.
You know, Kinder Surprise. Kinder Surprise were good. McDonald's were good. Now it's shit.
Well, the Kinder Surprise was really good. But they've got better though. They've got like
Kinder Surprise has got better. No, it hasn't.
They have got no, because they went through a stage of like just having a solid, like molded piece of plastic thing in them, and now you've got to build them and put the stickers on them.
No, you still get that to this day. You get a bit of both.
But nothing wrong with a bit of both.
No, I agree.
That's being liberal. But yeah, it's just I don't see past like some sort of fucking. I just wonder if this is what happens. I wonder if this is what happens all the time. Does humanity keep getting to this point?
Then it destroys itself.
Fucks itself. And then we rebuild.
Possibly. Maybe this is the one time.
I don't believe everything that's gone on over the last 2 years is an accident. Oh no, not even 2 years. Let's say 5 years now. Like we've lived in a strange world now for a little bit. I don't believe it's an accident.
100% no.
No.
It's not an accident.
Aliens and X, mate. You're going to be right in the prime seat. Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, well, if I get for a year and a half some good viewership before I die, then so be it. Subscribe to Alien Addict, people.
Subscribe to Alien Addict. Keep subscribing to Musty Audio. Go and sign up to my Patreon. Give me money because I deserve it. And you don't. I think that's the main thing I've realized is that people that don't subscribe to the Patreon don't actually deserve their own money. And I do.
Is a great way of selling it. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, I deserve it, and they don't. So I'm not asking for all of it, just a little bit of it. Just like if you look at your salary every month, and you think to yourself, oh, I was well slack Monday, then just give me like $10 of it because you didn't earn it. You fucking stole it essentially. Like that fucking 40-minute shit you had. You stole money from that company. So the way you can offset that is by pay it forward. So
if you like what you hear and you're still here at this point, then you could subscribe to Disney with that money, or you could help a man pay for his Disney subscription.
But they want to cut your cock off or teach how to talk.
Exactly. I don't want to cut anybody's penis off.
I just want to talk to you. That's all I want to do. And if you want to cut your own penis off, I will fucking back you on it 100%.
And I'll support that as well.
Yeah.
But just think about it before you do it.
Yeah, you might need that because penises are fucking great. If it's long enough, if it's long enough, it stops fucking you bumping into things. Saggy balls are a bit weird as you get older. Well, we're just rambling now. This is like the longest, weirdest goodbye to a podcast.
No, you're going to have to end it now because I'm going to say something highly inappropriate. But sometimes I do wish I had a vagina. My wife said, though, if I did, it would be ruined after a day.
I'd fist you.
Thank you, Lee. I'd probably take that offer up, just experience it once.
Bye, people. Thank you for listening. I'll be back next week.
Goodbye.
Stop it then.
That's what she said.
Or I'll fist you.